Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video. Today we're going to go over my top 8 Syn Shenron list that I used to get 5th place at the Kansas City Regional this past weekend. So really fun event. Obviously it's the start of the Zenkai format and really happy that I went. And thank you to everyone who helped contribute to get me there and everything else. And all the Kansas homies too. It was a really fun event. So going over the guy, we are using the Syn Shenron. And normally we don't play with a red aggro deck, but this is essentially a wish leader. So I kind of had to play it. And honestly, for the day one of the format, I think this is just one of the most straightforward decks, and I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this, so I just want to go with a strong deck that I thought could get a top, and it got top, so I'm happy for it. So going over it too, so we do have the leader. It's pretty much a wish. It just finds 2 of these cracked Dragon Balls on the front side, and then you're able to awaken on to this guy. Just lets you standard draw and then also has some interaction with your guys, which we'll talk about in a bit. There's also a new Z leader that comes out of this set for it too. So it is the Omega Shenron here, 7Z energy, which is not very expensive because you'll almost always have 6 of the balls in there. And then you get a couple extra effects, being able to get a -20 instead and give a, just play a guy for free if you remove the balls. And it's a double strike 20k base, so really cool. Your opponent has to be at 3 energy and you have to have 3 life or less, which is not terribly difficult to do, but really like that there. So going over the deck itself, we're playing 6 of the crack balls. Crazy, I know, what a game changer here. But these are really nice. You just fill them into your Z energy really quickly. One thing to mention too is that you don't have to specifically have 6 of these guys into your Z energy. You just have to have 6 Z energy in general. So you don't have to get the balls. Obviously these are the most efficient and best way to do it, but if you have like 5 and you can't find the 6th ball, you can just swing with a 1-drop or something and then combo something and then make it your 60 energy at the end of the battle and go from there. So, I like how flexible it is because normal wish leaders, if you see like 2 balls in your life, which I saw a lot of, you would have to just find them, but sometimes you can just take 1 ball from your life and then Z combo the 6th one, and you kind of be okay with it. So going through there, we're just going to start with 1-drops. 3 Brawly Crown, these are fantastic against blue. In general too, like most of the boss monsters and the power from this deck come from the Z deck, as we'll go over. You just need a lot of cards that are just good at being comboed and then just have some alternative effects if it comes up. So this is really good against blue, which I think is probably one of the at least more competitive for decks and matches for it. So I really like the Brawly Crown. And then we just play the ball finders, 4 of each. Haze Shenron is fantastic with the Syn Shenron that we're going to talk about earlier or next, but we're a turn 2 double strike crit on like a 25k body. If you combo 1 more card is fantastic, so it's very strong there. And then the Ocean is just late game, sometimes you just need to give your cards barrier to give them a chance, so that's really good there. And then we are just running 2 of the Natural Shenrons just for extra stuff. This is probably one of the weaker cards in the deck. If you don't want to run it, don't go for it, it's fine. But if we spoilers, Unisons are in the sideboard, but not on the main, but it is best of 1 pre-side, so it's anything's in the main between the side. But if you're looking for Unison turn 2, this would be a good way to find it, but it's just fine. Going into the actual true drops, because all those cost 1 for our leader, we do have the Nova Shenron and the Ice Shenron. These are pretty good. I like Nova a little bit better. The card draw is usually a little bit more impactful than the Ice Shenron. We get a lot of card draw on like turn 1 and 2 when you awaken and stuff, but then after that you don't get nearly any. So like you don't get a lot of cycle from your stuff. And so this extra cycle from the Nova Shenron can be really helpful. Ice Shenron is just good. Being able to have the critical is fine for it. But normally like this is like the backup play if you have literally nothing else to do, which you almost always have something to do since you're playing with the Z deck. Going from there, our super combos are 4 of the Beerus. These are just the best one for us because we don't know what our life's going to be at any given time. Most of the time we're going to be at like 5 to 7, and we don't really have a good way to take it in this deck. So being able to just have these Beeruses to use them to combo, and then sometimes you hit like a Beerus off a Beerus and it's like a 15k combo sometimes, but just the consistent draw and everything is very, very nice. We have 3 testing opposition. Spoilers, there's 1 in the sideboard, which we'll talk about. This is just good. Honestly, it's better just to use as a self-awakener if you're at 4 life and your opponent needs to try to swing into something, like swings into one of your battle cards, or if you're running the Unison. This is really good to get you down to 3 so you can Z-awaken next turn and get the bonus points off that. So good stuff there. My Spice, which never works, so don't do it. But there's a Vegeta Royal Evolution. This has like some cheeky plays with the Z stuff, so you can do something like, let's say you're this Syn Shenron will swing in, your opponent negates the attack because they know they can just go into this guy, give it double strike. So you swing with something else, and you can combo this Vegeta, which will restand this at the end of the turn. You can swing again, and then you can Z Awaken in the battle phase, and then it will have double strike because it doesn't have the keywords, the non-keyword skills, but the keyword skills stay with how Vegeta is worded. So it's just, you honestly, you just have a bunch of 5k red cards in your deck that you want to combo with anyways, just so they're never stuck in hand. And so I thought that was one. And here's another one, if Vegeta Resolve Renewed. I never resolved this at all. There are some matchups where it does make sense, but at least everything I played against, it's just a combo fodder and not really afraid about that. One Champa, because we're playing a red deck that's being aggressive. Then we have 4 of the Syn Shenron. These guys are a beast. Especially, I keep forgetting, like, this card draws when you play it, and I keep forgetting because I'm like, it's already a 20k for 1. Like, that's already really strong. So obviously this is where you swing in, and then you go and you use Haze Shenron, and then it's a 20k crit, and it's like turn 2, and your opponent probably has like 5 cards in hand because it's, you know, they haven't drawn unless they get really aggressive on their life, and they have to either say, do I want no hand or do I crit 2 life? And most of the time they crit 2 life, which feels really good. 3 of the Rage Shenron. I played this like once. You probably can go down to 2, but it is like a really good like emergency button. It has to be a Z Awaken leader for you to be able to play it for free, but when it works, it's nice. It's never, like, it's a 5k combo worst case, so you're never dead with it. 4 of the Big Boy, because it is very strong as well. 30k triple strike, and it's very, like, in the mirror match, it's really funny to have these guys face off against each other because they can't pop each other, which is really funny. At least you need multiple for it, because the first time it would lose, it would gain 5k, but you can play it for free. This is obviously the best target to use off your Z leader active main to play this from your hand for free. Triple strike is very strong, especially like on turn 3, and your opponent has like 3 life. Or if they have 4 life, and then you have this to play next turn, you just get it almost automatically. So shout outs to Robert for letting me borrow this as well. Shout outs to all the easy homies. Love the Arizona scene. So do not have this, so thank you for trusting me with it. It definitely won me a couple games, and I do appreciate having that at it. So, and honestly, I like this card. It doesn't really jive with this deck too much, but since we're restricted to only red battle cards, this is just the best one by default. I wish we had some better options, but if we could play like the new red black Gogeta in this deck, because it needs a red sand leader, that would be obnoxious, but we can't, so we don't. So the rest of the Z deck, pretty self-explanatory too. We do have the Rush Attack Vegetas and 2 of the Gokus from the Star deck, so you can just run one of these if you only want to get 1 Star deck. Honestly, you're not, you only really want to resolve this once, and it's if your opponent's exactly at 4 life, then say instead of using Rush Attack, you just want to use Son Goku, because you get the life automatically, and then it's a 20k double strike barrier deflect because of its own effect, so that's very strong there. This card's just obnoxiously good in this deck. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with this effect, because you're almost always going to have these 6 balls right here, and so you can't use the balls to play Z battle cards. But if you just play two combos, that means on turn 2, which is really easy, you swing into this, you build another combo. You have to activate main because you have 6 of these balls in here, and you can swing again as double strike, and then you rebuild the combo for it. It's just it's a good interaction, and if your opponent doesn't know how to get around it, and it gives minus 15k, so like this just destroys any unison your opponent plays on turn 2. It's obnoxiously good. If you guys have not seen that already, you will definitely see it very soon. So, and then we also, as said, we play this guy because we like to play the good cards. So. Sideboard, so I said this earlier, and you guys did not see in the main deck, we do not put this Unison in the main because I feel like a lot of the time it is just dead. It's very good in the blue matchup because you can use it to play our 4th copy of Broly Crown for free every turn. So I really like this. I think it's good. I mean, and honestly, blue has so many floodgates where if they give you, they drop a Vegeta on you and you don't want to power through it, you can just say, well, I'm going to use my energy anyways by playing this guy. I'll give it 4 markers. Immediately, it lets you draw a card off the top 3 of your deck because everything in this deck is red. Just a very strong card, obviously, but sometimes you just have better things to do and they're dead in hand in most matchups, but in blue, you definitely want it. An extra copy of this. I'm terrible at making sideboards, as you'll probably see for the rest of this. We do have 2 of these barrier hate cards, and again, like, I never resolved any of these. I did side these into some matchups, but this deck is just so good, and it's just dependent on having 5Ks that you can put into your Z energy. So if you have these, like they're never super dead. You can always just combo them away, and comboing into Z energy is really important. So this lets you pop anything 30k or less, but you have to pay it for 3 to play it. It does have deflect barrier, which is nice. And then Goku, when you play, you get to choose all your opponent's back cards 20k power less and KO them. Or for 2 red if your leader is red, and you play this card in your hand. If you drop, you get to pop something with barrier and 25k power less. So these both can do things in some matchups, so if you like them, you can go for it. You can even main board them if you want. Again, the whole package is just based on being able to combo and get your Z battle cards out. So 2 Yamchas because we're playing a red unison, but I don't think Yamcha is really good right now, especially because so many cards have deflect, it really does nothing. 2 Violent Rays, really good, especially if you're going against Gogeta and they're going first. This like shuts them off. All of their battle cards have 20k power or more, so they literally can't do anything if you Violent Rays them. I would probably put a 3rd copy in because it's how crucial it is in that matchup. And then a 4th copy of Testing Opposition, because sometimes you just need to be able to self-awaken or protect yourself enough that it's important there. So especially like sometimes your opponent's going to try to go in, and like if you swing in, if they swing into your guy and you have like 3 life, sometimes you need to get like a blocker out so you can Z-awaken on this block, and then you can use the Rage Shenron from hand to wherever it's at. Where's the Rage Shenron's at? I can't find it. The Rage Shenron, you can play it for free because you have a Z leader now. So there it is. You can go there and block the 2nd attack. And then you have another blocker, so it's kind of nice to do that. But that's the list. I don't think it's anything too spicy. It's just solid. This list is solid. The deck is solid. And that was it. The only losses were for Dane, who I think is in the finals as of recording this right now. So you either got 1st or 2nd for the event, and 2 other red Syn Shenrons where I went 2nd, so it wasn't my fault. So that's going to be it. This is the list. If you have any questions, let me know. And again, thank you to PPG for running the event, for hosting it, and to all the KC homies. It's really good to see you all. So that's going to be it, and I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it.